Hi, friends. Welcome to today's message. We're just going to jump right in per usual. This reading is for someone who, I'll be honest, as soon as I sat down to prepare for this reading and the messages started flooding in, there's just this sense of readiness. And it's like, it's not so tied to anxiety, although I see that there has been some anxious thought, maybe a little bit of overthinking too, that we'll get into in a little bit. But this is more just like, it's not so much, oh, I want this thing or I envision myself having this thing. It's like, no, the time is now. The time is ripe. I'm ready to act. I'm ready to finally do something about it. And I'm also sensing like, if this reading is for you, this is tied to some sense of inevitability. This is like something that you have been working towards. I don't know if you're doing intentional manifestation work or if this is just more so, you consciously working in a direction that you want your life to move in. But this is like, it's that kind of energy where there's just a readiness. And then funnily, I don't think that's a word, funny enough, you are represented by temperance. And so what this is telling you is that everything is okay. You're exactly where you need to be. There are just some other things going on. I get that you're ready, but what is crossing you right now is saying that there is some level of like foundational work that is just not set yet. This could be in terms of like a relationship. There could be someone that is entering into your kind of awareness soon enough that will, this doesn't even feel like a kind of direct kind of mentorship, but I'm getting this as kind of someone, and again, awareness is what this feels like. Someone who has kind of done it themselves, whatever this goal is that you have. This is someone who you may or may not already be aware of like, if this is some kind of like vocation that you're really wanting to do, or somehow you're wanting to kind of elevate what it is that you are experiencing in your life. And this feels more tied to finances here, but it is also tied to like your own kind of self-expression, interestingly enough. Anyway, this is just about kind of becoming aware of a path that someone has carved their own way, and this is kind of freeing and enlightening to you in some way, where it's just like, either it can be something as small as like, oh, like I can do that by myself, or I can do it my own ways. There's not so much there aren't so many rules that maybe you're currently abiding by, versus like this could be full blown, like they literally teach you a way that you did not know was possible of doing something. But overall, this feeling is like meeting someone who kind of has all of the things that you want. I'm actually going to pull a clarifier on this energy, just because it's a very strong masculine energy in that okay, thank you. Yeah, there is a partnership here. And it, something I will say is that it comes off of the back of some kind of surprise turn. This isn't like an ending, but I what I'm seeing is that there's a kind of expectation for a situation to play out in a certain way, and maybe even the like arrival of this person is the surprising like shake up, the kind of changes the dynamic and how you go about kind of overcoming this challenge. But I'm seeing that whatever it is that you're working towards, there comes a time where I'm truly, what it is like, whatever you're trying to create, there is some kind of obstacle that, maybe you are collaborating with other people trying to figure out the best way to overcome it. And it's like this other person that arrives that has the information that you need. And that kind of like cracks open the whole case, if that makes sense. Um, there's a kind of knowledge and mastery of like, I've been there, let me show you what I have discovered, my kind of best practices energy about that specifically. And I think this also will help like give you a boost to your confidence. And there's something here too about being seen, like feeling more confident, working on maybe even being more comfortable being perceived and seen in a similar kind of light. So, talk about just how this person maybe went about it in like less traditional means. This is like, someone who may be considered like an outsider because of their quirks, or just even because of their willingness to kind of explore and do things that aren't like the tried and true. I just see this as being a kind of it's weird because the word that I got was intervention, but it's almost like the intervention is that you need to allow yourself to be more creative in creating what it is that you want. Like, duh. But you know what I mean. You don't have to kind of go by the rule book so much. And I think this is kind of that space of like, I'm gonna be completely honest. This just feels like there's still a part of yourself that is being kind of held at arm's length because you're trying to um present what I think you think other people want, but what will truly connect you to that divine like spark of inspiration that will really launch this is you letting the full you be expressed through whatever this is. And that is like part of the solution. There's something that is like, I don't know, something at like the core of you that is the solution is how this is coming through. And I don't have another way to say that. Um but I'm getting this is something like even in the past there's a similar kind of situation where the way like this is one of the I don't know the cliche where it's like kind of the only way out is through. I don't know if that's a cliche, but you know what I mean? This is like kind of facing something head on, but this gives the energy of like innovation, and this could even speak to this feels like the kind of energy where it's like if you can muster the courage and the confidence to be the person that like speaks up in the boardroom, you know what I mean? And like talks to the CEO and pitches him your idea in 10 seconds, like in those movies where like, you know what I mean? It's that kind of energy where it's like, can you really harness the moment and the opportunity like you deserve? I don't know. It's just like, but there's this fear almost, or it's not even so much a fear, it's an indecisiveness. I feel like what this subconscious influence is really getting at is that there's you kind of go back and forth between showing a more what I think you would consider an authentic sense of yourself. And not to say that this other version is like less authentic. I think you have, different versions of yourself that you present given the occasion, right? Like obviously you hanging out with your friends on a Saturday night is not the same version of you that is going into work Monday morning, but this is about almost kind of needing to lower those barriers a bit and allow the more Saturday night you into the space of Monday morning you, because Saturday night you is more relaxed. Does that make sense? And more relaxed you, more confident you, more feeling like yourself you is more connected to the inflow of, divine creative influence and enlightenment in that way. And allowing that kind of, and it doesn't have, and I don't mean like don't talk to your coworkers the way that you would talk to your friends, but what I mean is having that same feeling and just overall like sense of security in yourself when you speak to people that you feel like you have to present a certain version to yourself versus the people that you can relax and let your hair down around and confidently be you, and that's still celebrated. It's about kind of blending those a little bit more and bringing the energy and the essence of who you are on a Saturday night to who you are Monday morning. Does that make sense? Because I think you are naturally a leader and the kind of person that people look to, but when you get around other people that embody that energy, I feel like you are the type that will just tune yours down, right? And we need to stop doing that. There is, and I'm literally seeing the subconscious like, do I put more of my emotion into it, or is that going to be seen as a bad thing? Do I, 100% like what I would do if this was, me type of a thing? Like there's a holding back that is it's I mean, not just holding you back, but it could be creating like some kind of delay. Like I'm seeing that you have the goods, but it's like you are almost afraid of people being like, who do they think they are, or something like that. Maybe you're like, if there's some kind of seniority thing going on, like where you are involved with other people, maybe it's even that someone maybe feels like you haven't done enough or something like that. Regardless, what I'm seeing coming towards you is, again, there may be a little bit of pushback from people who feel like you're getting too big for your britches or something like that. I'm sensing, and this, I'll be honest with you, the real thing that this is telling you to look out for are your own thoughts. Stop concerning yourself with what other people think about you or whatever limitations they are placing on you, because they're not for you to carry. But I'm getting there is a lot of anxiety around being seen, specifically as this is relating to some type of leadership role, or even just being seen as someone that knows what they're talking. I feel, I don't know. I feel like maybe there's a degree of like almost being afraid of doing the wrong thing, and not because like you're being like seen as wrong, but because you genuinely don't want to do the wrong thing. So it's like there's but you deep but you dive so deep into that it's a kind of paralyzing thing, right? Where it's like you have so much to offer. And I'm seeing that, again, there's this readiness. There's still just a little piece of like internal resistance where you're like, oh, but it couldn't possibly be me. Oh, but I couldn't possibly be the one to do it or be the first one to do it. And it's like, you can. You're gonna actually. You can, and you're gonna. Um but I see this ultimately, this whole situation here, moving you on to the next chapter. Essentially, I'm seeing there's a great deal of growth happening, and ultimately the most likely outcome here, I do see you tuning more into that childlike curiosity and fearlessness, and the inventiveness. I'm like, again, like innovation. There's something here about like discovery and kind of you paving the way. And even if you don't know exactly how to do that, you might not be an expert, and that's fine. But the thing about you is your mind is so curious and it is open. And that is what is needed. Um Again, don't let those anxious thoughts get to you. They're not helping out. I'm going to pull an oracle for you. And the oracle that I was pulled towards, this is a kind of energy that I get when you may need to kind of tune into a version of you that's a little bit more confrontational. And this is more about demanding like respect, doing what's right, kind of a thing. But we will see what happens. I'm not, putting anything on it, but this is kind of about when, you maybe need to step up and show people another version of yourself that they may or may not like for their own reasons that have nothing to do with you. All right. Let's see what we get. Okay. Let's see what this one says. It says, through journeying within, you will gain energy, insight, and freedom from the constraints of what has been. Allow that which needs to end to do so. You shall realize that you are not being denied, but released. There is something new on the horizon for you. Honor your losses, but keep hope in your heart for what is meant to be. This one is Nitya Kali. So this is a Kali oracle. Um, I think that is perfect. The you shall realize that you are not being denied, but release. I feel like that energy came through very strongly as well in this reading. Anybody that has anything to say about what it is that you are attempting to do, that is okay. You do not have to give any amount of energy towards the people that are clearly just not meant to continue on in your path in a similar fashion. You know what I mean? All right, you guys, that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. If this reading resonated and you want to let me know, feel free to drop a like or a comment. I really do love hearing from you guys, and it does help me out on the algorithm. I'm not going to lie to you. If you want to know next time I post a video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell if it's not already automatically. Anyway, hope to see you guys next time. Bye.